Hello fans and friends across the universe, welcome to my YouTube channel From Me to You. My name's Keir Smith, and so Sir Paul McCartney and his band finally took to the Pyramid stage on Saturday night, the 25th of June. Just a week after he celebrated his 80th birthday to perform at the 50th anniversary of the Glastonbury Festival, making him the oldest headlining act in the history of the festival. I must admit I was a little bit worried in the lead up to the show. I was worried as to what shape Paul's voice would be in. He's been on tour for the last month with his band and obviously his voice isn't what it used to be. But I kept thinking at the back of my mind, Paul McCartney is the consummate professional. He'll be ready for it. I was watching the BBC One broadcast at 10:30 p.m. UK time, and as Paul and the band entered the stage, I thought immediately that Paul looked very cool in that smart navy Beatlesque jacket. And he quickly got the show underway with a very good rendition of the Beatles' Can't Buy Me Love, which put everyone on familiar ground, a great opener. He then followed that with two of my top 10 favourite Wings songs, the great 1974 rocker Junior's Farm and Letting Go from 1975, which is such a cool groove with great horns. It was quite a start. Up next was the Beatles' Got to Get You Into My Life, and that was as bright and bouncy and breezy as the song always is. I really enjoyed that. And that was followed by Come On To Me, which was the lead-off single from Paul's 2018 Egypt Station album. I never thought too much of Come On To Me. I thought it was okay, but I really do like that Eastern flavoured descending riff, and I thought it was a really good version, and it made me dig out Egypt Station for another listen on my way to work today, so that was enjoyable. Up next was Let Me Roll It from Wings' Band on the Run album, and I did think here that Paul really struggled to project his vocal, but it's a great song, a firm life favourite, and that was followed by the Beatles' Getting Better. Not an obvious choice, but it's such a cool guitar lick and a great song, so I was pleased to hear that. Let 'Em In was a really nice surprise, a huge hit for Wings back in 1976. It's such an upbeat, effervescent tune which I've always loved. I thought that worked really well. And then a nice change of pace with My Valentine, which Paul of course dedicated to his wife Nancy. 1985 is an absolute showstopper, a magnificent song, and Paul sang it really well with a low gruff vocal, and the band were absolutely brilliant on that song, and it's always a pleasure to hear that. And then Maybe I'm Amazed, which is one of the songs that I was worried about. I thought, can he get through it? It's such a passionate vocal, and he first sang it 52 years ago on the McCartney album, and he got through it okay. I thought he did well with it. And then on to two more Beatles songs. I've Just Seen a Face from the Help album, a really good song, a nice easy on the ear vocal, and that was done really well. And then Love Me Do. Honestly, I've never enjoyed that song as much as I did on Saturday night. I've just always thought it was the Beatles' first single. It's a perfectly good song, but yeah, that was great. And I thought it was a really nice touch the way Paul revved the crowd up and shouted, "Let's hear it for George Martin." Just a quick word on that. Make no mistake about it, those Beatles songs would not sound half as good as they do without the direction and influence of Sir George Martin. He was, and for me will always be, the fifth Beatle. Dance Tonight went down well, a fine tune, an effortless McCartney melody with some funny choreography from the drummer Abe, and then Blackbird, gorgeous as ever. The crowd was still, but they were all singing along, all joined in warm prayer. And then Paul sang Here Today, which is the most beautiful tribute song I've ever heard, from Paul to John, and I'm just overcome with emotion when I hear Paul sing this. And I said to my brother on Saturday night, I think that I'm holding back the tears no more. I love you could well be Paul's most beautiful lyric. And when Paul shouted, "Let's hear it for John." Now, I've seen Paul McCartney live 4 times and he's done this song every time, but when he says, "Let's hear it for John," the passion and the emotion that runs through my body is absolutely incredible. My hairs are standing up, I've got goosebumps everywhere. And my short take on John Lennon is this: what he brought to the Beatles and beyond is absolutely mind-blowing. He is the most fascinating human being and a true inspiration to me on a daily basis, and I take his spirit with me everywhere I go. Thank God for John Lennon. And up next was New, the bouncy Beatlesque title track from his 2013 album, always enjoyable. And then Lady Madonna, absolutely love it, more bouncy piano pop, hooks aplenty, and always great to hear live. And then For You, which was another nice surprise, a really good song from Paul's Egypt Station album. I love that chorus. And then Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite from the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. Predominantly a John song, but done really well here with some excellent keyboard skills from Wicks. On to Something, which is Paul's tribute to George Harrison, and Paul tells the story of him and George playing the song on the ukulele, and Paul does it here on the ukulele at first and then the band join in. Really well done. And I loved all of those pictures on the big screen of Paul and George, and by this part of the gig I was getting quite emotional. Let's hear it for George. No one plays guitar like George Harrison, note perfect. No one writes songs like George Harrison with such deep meaning and thoughtfulness. The guy is an unbelievable talent and I absolutely adore him. Let's hear it for George. And after that outpour of emotion, Obla Di came along just at the right time. I love it, it's upbeat, it's fun, and always good to hear. And then two great songs from the Beatles' Abbey Road album. You Never Give Me Your Money, pieced together with She Came In Through the Bathroom Window as a mini medley. I would have loved to have heard a full-length version of You Never Give Me Your Money though, but it was well done. Up next was Get Back, a live favourite, rocking, always good to hear that live. And then enter Dave Grohl's special guest. First and foremost, the drummer from Nirvana, and of course most people will know him as the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, a band I really like. And he helped to rock up I Saw Her Standing There, sharing vocals with Paul as he did on the next track, the Wings classic, Band on the Run, one of the greatest songs ever written in my opinion, another live favourite, brilliant song and brilliantly done. And then as Dave Grohl left the stage, another special guest was announced, Bruce Springsteen. I was in rock and roll heaven. And I thought it was very gracious of Paul actually to let Bruce Springsteen do a song, but if Bruce Springsteen's in town, you've got to let him sing. And he didn't disappoint as he and Paul shared vocals on his hit single from his Born in the USA album from 1984, Glory Days, a great song. And Bruce stuck around as the band rattled through I Wanna Be Your Man, which was a fun time rock and roll. And after all of that excitement, things calmed down. Paul went to the piano and sang Let It Be, which is always a special moment of any Paul McCartney concert. And it's a song for everyone. And that guitar solo, whoever plays it, is one of my favourites ever. And then back up again with Live and Let Die, which is always a great spectacle with the fireworks flying off in all directions. It's another live favourite and a truly remarkable composition, thanks in no small part to the production on the song, which was down to George Martin. And to finish, of course, it had to be Hey Jude, the ultimate arena song, the greatest sing-along of all time. It had to be played and it didn't disappoint. It was superb. The na-na-nas rang out for a long time. They rang out as Paul left the stage and they continued to ring out until Paul appeared for the encore. And what an encore, starting with the Beatles' I've Got a Feeling, and we were treated to a virtual link-up with Paul and John. Peter Jackson, the director of the Beatles' Get Back movie, had isolated John's vocals so that the link-up could be made with Paul on this song, and just to hear them singing together all of these years later was a special moment. Helter Skelter was next, and this was brilliant. A full-on assault, loud, heavy rock, brilliantly played by the band. Paul shredded his vocal one last time, and that set up the grand finale of the closing Abbey Road medley. Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and the end. The finale of Abbey Road is quite simply the most gloriously beautiful and breathtaking suite of music that I've ever heard, and the very best way to finish any show anywhere ever. When those horns come in for the reprise of You Never Give Me Your Money, it's the best, and I can't tell you what it does to me. I was gone at that point. And on to the end, which is just the most emotional and powerful piece of music. Abe's drum solo was absolutely sensational, and then Dave Grohl comes back on, Bruce Springsteen comes back on. You've got Rusty and Brian from Paul's touring band. Paul's on guitar, and there's this five-way trade-off of sensational guitar licks. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I love the way that Paul's directing it. Your turn, and everyone's doing their best guitar licks, and then of course the song crashes down and Paul sings those life-affirming words, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And that was indeed the end. Off he went, and I was emotional but rapturous with my applause. Bar a couple of iffy moments, I thought it was a masterful performance. That is how you do a rock concert. 2 hours and 40 minutes of McCartney heaven. All of those songs, no rest. He doesn't even pause for a drink. He never does. And his touring band are absolutely fantastic. Abe, Wicks, Brian, Rusty, Bruce Springsteen, Dave Grohl, and of course, Paul himself. They put on an incredible show. And to think he could have played Silly Love Songs, With a Little Luck, No More Lonely Nights, Pipes of Peace, Another Day, No Penny Lane, The Long and Winding Road, We Can Work It Out, All My Loving. He didn't play Yesterday. He could have put together an entirely different set list and it would have gone down just as well. That's how many great songs Paul McCartney has got up his sleeve. But I was absolutely thrilled. I took myself to bed around 1:20 a.m. UK time and I couldn't sleep. I was just so pleased that it had not only gone so well, but I was excited as to think what Paul's next move might be. But I hope that Paul takes a well-earned rest. He deserves it. And no doubt he will go back to work very soon and probably start work on a new album. I really hope so. So that was my review of Paul McCartney live at Glastonbury. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give the video the thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be lots more to come. Thanks as always for watching. See you next time.